Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the Come Off Conqueror show. I'm your host, Bonnie. Thank you for joining me for this Monday meditation. It's called the Vegus Nerve Meditation because we're going to be using 8 powerful techniques for bringing our bodies out of fight or flight and into a state of safety and calm by stimulating our vagus nerve, which is the nerve that goes from your brain and connects all of your major organs. And when we stimulate this nerve, it really helps calm the body and calm the mind. We're going to be using that different stimulation and massage techniques, breath work, eye movement, mantras, our binaural beats that we love so much, scriptures, and of course, our heart-centered meditation. All of these will help calm down your nervous system. And I know because you're probably in a state of panic or fear or feeling chaos right now, I'm not going to go into a lengthy introduction, but I do want to tell you to please stay tuned to the end of this video after the meditation, where I will give you the key to preventing these panic attacks and preventing triggers from happening ever again. I also have a free gift for you that will also help you on your healing journey and also help end these triggers once and for all. So watch the very end for all of that information. So without further ado, if you are ready to begin, I invite you to get into a comfortable position. You can be lying down or sitting, whatever feels good for you. There really is no right or wrong. I'm going to lean back in my chair because that is comfortable for me and you'll still be able to hear me. We're going to begin our meditation and our process a little bit differently today than you're used to. We're actually going to start by activating that vagus nerve, the one that connects our brain to every major organ. So we're actually going to begin this meditation a little bit differently than you're used to with my other meditations. We're actually going to start with activating the vagus nerve. So we do that by slowly and gently moving our heads from side to side. Notice how far you can move your neck. Really make a mental note of that. Now go up and down. Take some deep breaths in through your nose and out of your nose. If you recall, nose breathing really helps stimulate the vagus nerve and activates that parasympathetic nervous system. Very good. So as you move your head from side to side, repeat after me this phrase. In this space, at this time, I am safe. In this space, at this time, I am safe. Very good. Now, very good. Go ahead and put your hands above your head, resting your head in your hands, or rest your head back on your pillow, and have your head pointed straight in front of you. But you're going to look to the right with just your eyes. So don't move your head. Just look to the right with your eyes. We're going to do this for about 30 seconds. You don't need to strain your eyes by looking really far to the right. You don't need to look in any particular spot. Just keep holding the position looking to your right for about 30 seconds. I'll let you know when that time is up. But while you're looking there, I want you to repeat in your mind these phrases. Peace, be still. Take a deep breath. peace, be still. Take another deep breath. Very good. Now take another deep breath and think, I am safe. Take a deep breath and think, I am safe. Now repeat those in your mind a couple more times. Very good. Now, with your eyes still looking to the right, swallow or yawn or sigh. Very good. Now, this time, we're going to look to the left. And we're going to keep looking to the left until we naturally sigh or yawn or swallow. Okay, you're looking for that body reaction while you're looking to the left. And while you're looking over there, notice what you can see. Notice what you can hear. Notice what you can feel. Maybe your chair, your shirt. Notice what you can touch. Very good. Now, if you just yawned, sighed, or swallowed, go ahead and look back at the screen. Otherwise, keep looking to the left. And go ahead and take a deep breath in and out of your nose. And as you breathe in, really focus on your stomach rising as you breathe in. And as you breathe out, let your stomach fall. So watch me. So notice the stomach rises as you breathe in and falls as you breathe out. Very good. We call that stomach breathing or diaphragm breathing. We're going to do that a few more times. And as you take some more deep breaths like that, think to yourself, peace, be still. Or, I am safe. But repeat those phrases in your mind as you take another deep breath. Very good. Now, let's move on to a little vagal nerve massage. You'll begin this massage by finding the little place inside your eye socket right here at the top of the bridge of the nose, okay? And you'll slowly massage and very gently massage that area in circles. Okay, there should be kind of this like soft spot right in there that you can feel, like this little nerve or something. You're just going to massage that. You can do one side at a time or both sides. Either way, just make sure that you even them out. Very good. As you massage the inside of your eye socket here, listen to the calming music and repeat in your minds one of your safety phrases. Okay? Peace, be still. I am safe. I am enough. Jesus loves me. Whatever comes to your mind here. Very good. Now bring your finger across and atop your eyebrows to your temples and gently massage your temple in a few slow circles. 1, 2, 3. Then come back to your eye socket area, and we're going to circle 1, 2, 3. Go back across the eyebrow, circle your temple. 1, 2, 3. Back across the eyebrow to the eye socket. 1, 2, 3. Very good. Now, bring your fingers down your nose to the soft spot just under your eye, right about here. I like to take a few fingers and massage this area. And while you massage here, think to yourself your safety phrases again. I am safe. Peace. Be still. Jesus loves me. I am enough. I am loved. Very good. Now sweep your finger up and around your eye, this way this time, up to your temple again, massaging, repeating your safety phrase. And then come back down to under your soft eye, the soft spot under your eye, excuse me. Peace. Be still. Good. Now back up to your temple. I am safe. Back under your eye. Back up to your temple. Very good. Now, take one of your fingers. This part might seem a little bit weird, but it really works. You're going to take one of your fingers and you're going to place it inside of your ear. Okay, you're not going to go very deep or anything. It's not like you're, going crazy deep, but just go inside and you're going to gently massage inside of that ear. 1, 2, 3. Good. Now the other side. 1, 2, 3. Good. Now back to the other. 1, 2, 3. Very good. Now back to the other. 2, 3. Now both ears. 1, 2, 3. Very good. Now you're going to massage this little part of your ear right here that's called the tragus. It's this little triangle piece, if you can kind of see. You can massage both sides together. Don't forget to breathe. Repeat your safety phrase. Good, very good. Now massage your outer earlobe. Take a deep breath. Think, peace, be still. I am safe. Peace, be still. Very good. Oh, that feels great. Now, take a deep breath. And if your heart rate and your breathing have slowed down and you're feeling more calm now's a great time to check in with your body and move your head again to the right and to the left. Very good. And you should have noticed that you were able to be a little more loose Oh, yeah. I'm way more loose. I could barely even move my head up a minute ago. But if you're not loose yet, then rewind the video and do that process again. Otherwise, I invite you to move on to the next step where we're going to really get into our meditation now. So put your hand over your heart, close your eyes, and take a deep breath in through your nose and out of your nose. Again. Thank your body for helping you calm down today. Thank your heart and your mind for keeping you safe. And now ask your heart, what is the next step that you need to feel safe and calm? Next, ask your heart if it has a message for you. Now imagine feeling love and peace and calm. Imagine those emotions spreading out from your heart, reaching your shoulders and your back, your head, your arms, your legs, and down to the feet. Send love to every part of your body, thanking it for this experience today. Next, send love to your loved ones, to your family and friends. Send love to your town or city. Send love to your country. Send love to the world. Send love to God or the universe. And thank Him for this beautiful experience today. Now open your eyes. Very good. You just calmed yourself down with this very simple yet very effective meditation and vagal nerve stimulation. I'm so proud of you. Good job. Now, as promised, I promised that I would explain to you the science and the reasons behind why this meditation is so effective and tell you how you can prevent these triggers and these panic attacks from happening. I believe that education early is the key to transforming our lives. And that by understanding trauma and what's behind these panic attacks and how they affect us, both mentally, spiritually, physically, emotionally, that when we can understand what's going on in our bodies, we will then be able to understand how to end the triggers and the panic attacks once and for all. So many of you know already that when you're triggered by something, your body goes into a panic attack or what's known as fight or flight. So this is the state of your brain where it literally flips a switch in your brain, and your executive functioning here in the prefrontal cortex at the front of the brain is basically turned off. That means that your ability to reason and to think clearly is severely hindered. This is the part of the brain. So when this happens, when this part of your brain turns off, it turns on your sympathetic system, which is in your limbic system. And that turns on. And it's basically because you're now in a state of survival, because your body is recognizing that there's some sort of danger, whether it's real or imagined. Fight or flight response kicks in because your body is perceiving some sort of danger. This is really important to know, because what you need to understand is that your body and your brain are literally trying to keep you alive right now. And it goes back from when our ancestors were like cavemen, right? Like this system is really, really needed for not just them who are being chased by wild animals, but us. So if you think about it, when you're in a state of fight or flight, all of your senses are heightened. Literally everything is more powerful, more empowered. Your eyes can see better, your ears can hear better, your sense of smell, your sense of touch, everything is on overdrive. So many of you will notice that when you're in a constant state of fight or flight, noises bother you. Maybe someone goes to touch you, but it's really irritating and you don't want to be touched. That happens to me all the time. Maybe the lights are too bright, or you get super hot, or you start to shiver. And that's your animal brain talking to you. My kids like to call it our animal brain. And it's being activated to help you get out of danger. It was what made those cavemen be able to run faster, to spear the animal better because they could see their target better, right? They could hear noises better. And it literally kept them alive back then. So our brain is doing that for us now. It literally is triggering our sympathetic nervous system to kick on. That's why it's called a trigger. Which, by the way, did you know that there's more than just fight or flight? There's also freeze and fawn. Those are also reactions to that survival instinct. So you could also freeze and be paralyzed, unable to do anything, which we know happens a lot, right? Like you might see someone get hurt and just freeze and not know how to help them, right? Or maybe an abuser goes to attack you and you just freeze and don't say anything, right? You think in your head, say something, say something, say something, but you can't. You might also fawn over your attacker. So this happens a lot in abuse cases where someone's not feeling safe. And so they do whatever their attacker, their abuser is telling them to do. That is the fawn response. Now, this is important for you to understand because when you're in the fight or flight mode, like I said before, your executive functioning is greatly turned down. So you'll notice it's really hard to think straight. You make poor decisions. You can't remember things. Even stuff as simple as your phone number or your address that you've known your whole life, you can't recall those things. That's normal because your executive functioning is turned off. So it's really difficult in those moments to process your emotions or even your thought patterns. So a lot of times people will say when you're triggered, right? Think about the emotion or the thought that's coming to you, and you go through this whole thought transformation process. But it's really hard to do that if you're in the middle of fight or flight. So you have to calm your body down first and get out of fight or flight before you can even do any of that processing, because all of that processing happens right here in your prefrontal cortex. So how do we do that? How do we calm the mind and body down? We do that by activating our parasympathetic nervous system by doing something called down regulating. And we use our vagus nerve to do that because the vagus nerve sends impulses from the brain to the body, but also from the body back to the brain. And it helps slow your heart rate. It helps your breathing slow down. It helps regulate your entire body. And then when you're in a state of calm, you'll really be able to believe the statement, I am safe, I am enough, all the truth, right? All those things that we do in the thought processes. I'll get to that in a minute. Okay, so in order to prevent triggers from happening, we needed to understand what was going on in our bodies. But there's really 4 things that we can do to prevent triggers and panic attacks from happening, okay? And I guess 5, because the first one was understanding what was going on in our bodies. The next ones are I'll first state the next few steps and then I'll expand on them and afterwards. So the first step is practicing getting into a state of calm and relaxation every day if possible, especially if you're in this chronic state of fight or flight. You really need to be practicing it every day. Number 2 is figuring out what the catalyst is that's causing the triggers or the panic attacks. Number 3 is make a plan on how to either avoid these catalysts or triggers or how to be prepared to deal with them when they occur. That's really the better. I'll explain why avoidance isn't such a great technique in a minute. And then lastly, number 4 is heal the wounds that are connected to the triggers. Because generally speaking, there is a traumatic event that is attached to all of these triggers. It is the original catalyst. And when you can figure out what that is, you can then heal it and overcome it. And that will stop these panic attacks usually from happening again. Because really, if you look at it this way, triggers are a good thing. They are your body telling you that you've got some work to do. Triggers are your body's way of telling you that there's a wound or an emotional traumatic event that needs to be healed. I remember the first time I heard that from my life coach, Griff Nelson, who was my personal trainer and life coach. And I remember thinking, yeah, right, triggers are not a good thing. But as time went on and the more I learned about trauma and trauma recovery, the more I realized how true and correct he really was. Okay, let's break down each of these steps one by one. And don't forget, at the end of this video, I promised you a free gift that will help you on your journey to ending these triggers once and for all. So don't miss that at the end of this video. All right. The first step to ending triggers and panic attacks forever is to practice getting into a state of calm and relaxation. Now, you did that today. You practiced that by doing the vagal meditation that we just barely did. But there are other ways that you can also do that. But first, you need to know whether or not you are in a state of chronic fight or flight so that you know whether or not you are out of the chronic state of fight or flight. So let me first tell you some of the common symptoms of being in a chronic state of fight or flight, with the caveat that every person's symptoms are different. So really, you should talk to your doctor, mental health professional about your particular situation and your symptoms to discover whether or not you are in chronic fight or flight, okay? But here are some of the most common ones. Being emotionally numb, which can create forgetfulness, difficulty focusing, fatigue, hopelessness, sense of shame, and engage in self-destructive behaviors because you can't feel. On the flip side, some people are overly emotional and overly reactive to things. Everything makes me cry, or everything makes me angry, or I'm flying off the handle at the most ridiculous things that really shouldn't be making me angry or feeling crazy are triggering me. For example, I've heard people say, I know it's irrational, but it's happening anyway. So this can create confusion and more shame and more guilt and more fear, right? Sound familiar? You might also be in a constant state of worry or fear. You might be experiencing nightmares and night sweats and waking up for no reason. You might be constantly tired, but having a really hard time actually resting. So maybe your body is super sleepy and you're tired, but you can't fall asleep. You might be constantly checking your surroundings and thinking someone's following you, maybe having feelings of paranoia. You might also be experiencing lapses in memory, and you might be avoiding people or places that normally you wouldn't avoid. So again, those are just some common symptoms that I've heard people say, but your situation might be unique. So please talk to your doctor, mental health professional. So what do you do about it, right? Now, we did 8 techniques today in our vagal stimulation, and in our meditation. Did you catch what they were? The first was obviously the vagal nerve stimulation and massage, right? So this technique was actually adapted from a fellow YouTuber. It's the YouTube channel is called Calm with Kyle, I think. He's a clinical psychologist, and I'll link to his channel below because he is amazing. I love his content. He is just so soothing and reassuring, and I love all the stuff that he teaches. He's fantastic. So I'll link to that below so you can learn more about vagal nerve theory and vagus nerve stimulation. We also combined deep belly breathing, and we used nose breathing as well because the nose stimulates the nervous system, and belly breathing and diaphragm breathing stimulates the vagus nerve. In fact, anytime you use your diaphragm, like if you sing or you yell, that also stimulates the vagus nerve. Interesting, huh? We also used mantras. We used repeating those phrases, peace, be still, I am safe, and phrases like that in our minds. This helps command our minds and tells our minds to relax. And did you notice that one of those phrases was from a scripture? So we were inviting the Holy Spirit and God into our meditation to help calm us down. We also used music today with the binaural beats, which these are known to have higher frequencies and special frequencies that help calm the mind and body. And of course, because I'm a heart-centered coach, we used heart-centered meditation to check in with our hearts and our body to ask for answers and help calm us. And we brought in gratitude. These are just a few of the many, many, many strategies out there. A lot of people use exercise like yoga to help calm the nervous system. But there's two more that most people forget that are really important. And they are getting good sleep, where you're in your REM cycle for longer, and proper nutrition. You guys, nutrition and sleep are so important to resetting your body. Did you know that your gut actually helps regulate your emotions and affects your neurotransmitters? It's crazy. So if you have good gut health and good proper nutrition, you will literally be helping calm your brain. I've got a really great interview I did with my friend Lisa, and I'll link to that down below, where she explains more about nutrition and how it affects our brains and our emotional states and our cortisol levels and things like that. So check that out down below if you're interested more about how nutrition can help you. All right, step number 2 was preventing triggers. All right, step number 2 in preventing triggers is figuring out what the catalyst is that's causing the triggers or the panic attacks. So what we do here is we can keep a journal of when our triggers and our panic attacks are happening. And we want to notice the time of day, the people, the situations, smells, noises, like was there a certain song or someone's cologne, or was there a loud noise? What's happening around you at the time when the trigger or the panic attack starts? And you will notice that there are patterns and there are trends. And when you start to see these things, you can then make a plan to either avoid or to reduce the effect that that stimulus has on you, which is step number 3. So let me tell you a little bit of it. Let me tell you a story here. When I was in college, I couldn't drive during rush hour because I noticed I was getting these crazy panic attacks in the car. So I went to a therapist, and he helped me see that it was because I was feeling trapped. All right. And it brought up some of these same feelings that I had as a child during a traumatic event as a kid. So what his advice was to stop driving in the car during rush hour. He said, avoid it. Don't do it. If that's a trigger for you, just don't do it. Well, that's great advice, but that's not exactly doable all the time, right? So I did the best I could. But then later, when I was 22, which was right after college, I was date raped. And those panic attacks came back in full force. They were even worse. And I couldn't avoid traffic all the time. In fact, I moved to a bigger city to get away from my abuser and my situation, and there was traffic everywhere. So I could no longer avoid traffic. So I needed to learn how to heal and what to do during those panic attacks. So I made a plan. I figured out what I could do during those panic attacks. I learned coping skills like deep breathing, mindfulness, meditations, mantras, different things that could help me in the moment. And it did help. And for a number of years, I used those coping skills and those strategies when panic attacks happened. But I didn't know that I could end those panic attacks for good until I learned that these panic attacks and these triggers were caused by a traumatic event, that the trauma I endured was causing the panic attacks, even though the panic attacks and the triggers had absolutely nothing to do with the trauma. Okay. It's not like I was driving in the car and that song or something happened to remind me of my abusers or the trauma. That's not what happened at all. It's that the emotions that I was feeling during the trauma, or sorry, what happened, sorry, Cameron, what I realized is that the emotions I was feeling are what triggered the panic attack, because the emotions were tied to thoughts and emotions that were tied to the original traumatic event. And once I learned how to heal those wounds and that event, I was then able to stop those panic attacks from happening. I still get them from time to time, but they are no longer panic attacks that are attached to those traumatic events. I've healed those types of panic attacks. I now get, how do I explain this? I now get different panic attacks that are not centered around those. They are caused from a different trigger and a different emotional set, different emotions and different thought patterns and processes. So I'm still working on healing those now, but I'm confident that now that I have the skills and the knowledge to heal those panic attacks, I can heal these ones too. So it's really kind of cool. So what I'm saying is you might have panic attacks and triggers about different things. They might not all be related to the same traumatic event, okay? Now, please understand that this is the final step for a reason. You really should not attempt this step until you have done the other steps. You really need to learn safe coping skills before you dive into your trauma history. And we really don't have time for me today to go into this final step in more detail. But what you really need to understand is that these traumatic events don't have to be huge, big natural catastrophes like an earthquake or witnessing someone die in a car accident or a pandemic or even like abuse situations, right? They really could be smaller things that happened when you were a young child that your mind just couldn't comprehend at the time. So the point I'm trying to make is there is no one size fits all to trauma. All right. But when we start to find the truth about those events from our past, and they don't have to be far back in our childhood or even infancy, they could be as far back as like a week ago. All right. But these events cause wounds and they can create that state of chronic fight or flight because we don't heal from it. But I want you to understand that you can heal those wounds. You can heal that trauma. You don't have to stay in a state of constant fear or state of fight or flight. But what you really need to understand today is that generally speaking, especially for the members of my audience, that these panic attacks and these triggers are tied to some traumatic event. And that in order to heal those traumatic events, we do that through desensitization. I can barely say that word. And there's a lot of different techniques that do that for you. Hypnotherapy, IFS, CBT therapy, the heart center coaching stuff that I do with my clients. Byron Katie has the work. Dennis Parker has this turning down negative emotions and turning up positive emotions techniques that I can teach you. There's a lot of different techniques to heal the trauma. But what you need to take away today is that you need to find someone who is not just trauma informed, but trauma trained. They're actually trained to help you overcome that traumatic event. And it takes special training to do that. Not everyone can do it, okay? So when you go looking for a healthcare professional or a mental health professional, make sure you ask them if they are trauma trained and in what techniques, and ask them how those techniques work to heal the trauma. There's a lot of different techniques. EMDR is one. I mean, I've listed a couple already. So if you want more ideas and more techniques and you are looking for a good point in the right direction, go ahead and message me. Put a comment in the comments down below, and I'm more than happy to refer you to lots of practitioners that I know that are trauma trained who are fantastic. You don't just have to work with me. I'm happy to refer you to other people. Okay, so this takes me to what I promised would be my free gift. Now, as you guys probably know, I am trained in heart-centered therapy and also domestic violence advocacy and getting safe and seeking safety and different trauma-informed and tools and techniques and practices. And so I've developed a very safe and gentle process that includes meditation and journaling and different tools to help people overcome their trauma. I do things a little bit differently than a lot of practitioners because my approach is very gentle, and we focus first on learning those coping skills and getting you to a state of safety before we dive in. We don't dive into trauma until much later in the process, until you're at a state where you feel safe and you're ready to dig into the past. And the last thing I want you to understand is that you don't necessarily have to bring up every traumatic event to get over it. Now, my system that I developed for my clients is very unique and tailored to each client based on what their needs are. But there are some clients that I have discovered where we can't go back to their trauma because it is just too triggering. And even though they've learned coping skills and stuff like that, they're just not ready. But what I have found is that we can heal the wounds and the effects of the trauma without having to relive or revisit the traumatic experience. So this is really important to note because some therapies make you detail out what happened during the traumatic event. We don't have to do that in every single type of therapy modality. There is a type of modality where we don't have to relive it. We don't have to describe in detail what happened. All we do is heal the wounds and the effects of that trauma. And so it's super powerful because it helps people overcome the trauma without being re-triggered. It's really, really cool. All right, this leads me to the free gift that I promised you at the end of this long video. So thank you for sticking it out with me and learning about trauma and how to heal the trauma and these triggers that you're experiencing. I would love to help you overcome these triggers once and for all. And so because I have seen such a great need within our community to do that, I created a free 12-week class on trauma recovery. And in this class, you will learn about the effects of trauma, different types of abuse, and about trauma recovery, learning safe coping skills. And it's also a support group. So not only will you learn the skills and the tools and techniques and all the things that you need to recover, but you will also have a safe place to share and have a community where you can feel like you're surrounded by uplifting and encouraging people who will help you be accountable and help you stick to your healing goals and help you feel safe again. It's a great community full of loving, amazing people who are all trying to heal just like you. So it's a great format because we combine the education piece and discussion and application with a support group. And this format is known and scientifically proven to actually affect change, to not only help people recover quicker, but to keep that recovery for longer and potentially forever, right? To heal. Therefore, I would love to invite you to join our free class and support group. You can click on the link below for more details and sign up for the class and find out what everything is entailed there. But in addition to that, I want to give you another free gift because I'm feeling generous today, I guess. But I really do want to help you on this journey. I know what this is like, you guys. I have been there, and I remember how painful and how scary it was to go through this. You don't have to do it alone. So I would like to give you also a free discovery session where we will make a unique healing plan just for you, a plan that is based on your unique situation and your goals and what you personally need. We will do a heart-centered meditation during that discovery session and ask your heart what you need to move forward, because your heart knows the truth. Your heart knows exactly what you need. I don't. The rest of the world doesn't. That is the truth that, is kind of hard to hear and kind of hard to say as a healthcare, or kind of hard to say as a mental health professional, right? But the truth is, I have all sorts of resources and tools and guides and books and all these sorts of things, all this learning. But at the end of the day, it's your heart that is going to give you your unique path. Your heart knows what you need. Your heart knows what you need. Your mind and your subconscious mind know what it needs to heal. So we're going to go straight to the source, and we're going to ask you to help us create that unique plan. So I hope that you will join us in the 12-week class, and I hope that you will take advantage of this free discovery session, and hopefully we can help get you on your path to healing so that you can start having more peace and more rest and more calm in your life. I truly love you, and I hope you can feel that from my videos and from this channel, that I truly care about you and I want to see you healed. God loves you and He wants to see you healed, and He is ready and willing to help you. So please click on the links below, sign up, let me know what I can do to help you. Thanks, everybody. I hope that you'll share this video with anyone else that you know that might be struggling, because let's be honest, we can probably all think of several people who really need help calming down in these times. We're in the middle of a stressful situation, and that stress just does not seem to be letting up. So please share this video with whoever came to your mind just now, and let them know how much you love them and that you're here for them. I love you all. Thank you so much. And until next week, God bless.